We're looking at a cheat code right now. The Green Bay Packer offense is a cheat code in 2024. In fact, you can group a lot of these guys together on the same team, especially in best ball, but on the same team without touching a lot of the early draft spots, meaning that you can couple a majority of what you see on screen with bigger name players, making these guys the lightweight monsters on the squad. But these are heavy hitters just disguised as smaller players, cheaper pieces of your team. Jordan Love's going to go crazy. A guy we predicted here. In 2024, this is our boy, Jordan Love, and he's going to drop wads all over the field, more so than last year.
Why do you say that, Smitty?
Why is he going to get better? Well, I mean, preseason gave us a little splash of that when he threw a touchdown pass to this man, but preseason's preseason. Why? Smitty, give me facts. I'll tell you this. He did what he did last year with this entire wide receiver room banged up, including Musgrave. Watson was injured. He was injured. Aaron Jones, who this man's replacing Josh Jacobs, and he's going to the mother-freaking moon. To the moon. Aaron Jones was supposed to be one of the best receivers on the team last year. 3 players on the board here. If we put Aaron Jones back here for a second, 3 pieces of this entire squad was injured. He's getting all of it back, maybe even Christian Watson. And if not Christian Watson, they'll be okay because Dobbs, Reed, Wicks, Musgrave, and Jacobs will be plenty. Teams would kill to have this kind of value. This is probably one of the deeper offenses in the National Football League. It just doesn't have that splashy big name, which is what he was referring to when someone said, hey, who's your number one? And he said, I don't think we have a number one. Stroud was asked that question, but he meant it more in the sense that they're all number ones, right? He didn't really clarify it like that. And that could be insulting to these guys, but it's honest, and I think it's probably true, because if I asked you who's the number one, you'd probably pause and go,
I think it'll be...
Yeah, it'll be Wicks. No, it'll be Watson. Watson was the number one, Smitty, all year long when he was on the field, and that's true. Reed, Smitty, he gets the rushing work. 200-300 rushing yards, 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 touchdowns on the ground. We can say Dobbs, Wicks, Reed, Watson. Any one of these 4 guys could be the number one wide receiver, and they could rotate in a Tank Dell and Nico fashion from last year, if you remember that. And that's a 1A, 1B. This doesn't mean that we have no number one wide receiver. Let me tell you something, guys. We should not be looking at this room and saying, yeah, I think it's going to all be kind of spread out. There is going to be a top 12 wide receiver from the Green Bay wide receiver room. And because no one can figure out with confidence who it is, nobody's going near them. Their ADPs are ridiculously low, and I'm going to show you how to build a winning team by drafting and consuming much of what is on the board on one team. And you don't need to touch your first rounder, your second rounder, your third rounder. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. Let's build.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show.
All right, let's get to the draft board and talk about how we build this kind of situation here. And when we look at ADP data on Underdog Fantasy now, best ball is different than non-best ball. So we'll address the discrepancies between that information as we go, because we need to now. We need to talk about best ball, non-best ball. Jordan Love is at 96 overall, the 8-9 turn. The 8-9 turn, you can get Jordan Love as your starting quarterback. I believe that's going to change. I believe data's popping off right now because this guy goes out and throws a missile strike to Wicks in the preseason, and I think his value is climbing. But we'll put him at 8 because of that. So 8-9 turn, we'll put him at the top of 8. Might climb into 7, but that's okay. Round 7 maybe in non-best ball. Round 8 in best ball in a 12-man. I think that's reasonable. Where are we getting a guy like Jaden Reed? Because he'll be the first wide receiver off the board, I imagine, walking into the coming weeks, and he's ahead of Christian Watson right now. Jaden Reed, 60 overall. Jaden Reed, 60. Christian Watson, 70. Romeo Dobbs is 101. God. And Wicks is going to be at 116. This is unreal. 70 overall is going to be round 6, so we got to put our boy Reed as the first drafted player of this crew in round number 6. Now, I'm not saying you have to grab every one of these guys. We're going to kind of just map it out. I'm not saying not to, but I'm saying, especially in best ball, but I just want to show you where everybody's going. Okay, Dobbs, we said, was 101. That's not even on my board. That's round 9. I have round 8. I'll put him at the bottom here. of round number 8, so you understand where he's at. We said Watson was 70. That's going to put him in round 7. So Watson in round 7 makes sense. We're going to start drafting these guys starting in round number 6 to be safe. In non-best ball, you may end up getting sniped as you try it, but I wouldn't necessarily try it from round 5 to try and get it done, because in non-best ball, stacking's not as important. So I wouldn't force it or reach. Sometimes I'll reach in a best ball to stack because it's important, but in non-best ball, don't reach to get a stack like this. It'll only burn you trying to rotate your players. But organizational purposes, we're going with Reed in round number 6, Watson in 7, Love in 8, top of 8, and Dobbs is going to go in 9, and Wicks is in 10 practically, or later. So Wicks is going to go down where Dobbs is. So what I'm trying to explain is that you have yourself a monster crew here, a monster crew. These guys, again, are past Jordan Love's round number 8. And you haven't used your first round, your second round, your third round, your fourth round, your fifth round picks yet. You have an arsenal sitting right here, meaning you can still go Bijan in round number 1. Look at all the wide receivers we got. Even if we got just one big name wide receiver, having all of these guys, I know it could be confusing. In best ball, your lineup started for you an optimal scoring, so you're not worried about having all of them. It's beneficial to have all of them. But let's say you went, I don't know, let's say you went RB in this situation. We're going to grab Kyron and we're going to grab Bijan. We're going to also use Love as our QB, so we're not going to grab QB in 3. We could, but we're not going to. In best ball, we get Kyron potentially in 3, and we could grab Achane in round number 2, and you could come away with even if it was McBride, an early McBride in round 4. McBride, the reason I'll say no McBride here, because you could probably get Kincaid in round 5. So round 4, we're going to go with our wide receiver, because we're going to go light wide receiver shopping by having this entire arsenal here to go along with our one wide receiver, which is going to be Tank Dell, who's behind Jalen Hurts right here. So Tank Dell. So this is our one wide receiver approach through 4 rounds, and this is best ball. Non-best ball, Dell goes a little later. I've gotten Dell in round 5, just depends on who you're drafting with. And then you can get like a Jacobs and have another running back if you wanted. Or you could go Laporta, he could fall. Maybe you don't get this RB situation going on. But let's say you were to go with this deployment right here. And in round number 5, let's go Kincaid. I think we're going to go Kincaid right in round number 5. I think that makes a lot of sense for this team. So we're going running back. We're going Tank Dell in round number 4. We're going Kincaid in round number 5, and we have our quarterback in every single Green Bay Packer. So in best ball, optimal scoring, I've got a wide receiver gold mine attached to Tank Dell, was afforded the ability to go running back, robust RB to the extreme, got Dalton Kincaid, still have a top 5, 6, 7 QB, and an amazing arsenal of weaponry at wide receiver. In a non-best ball, you probably aren't getting Achane and Kyron this way. So let's go ahead and take Kyron, and we'll take Achane. You could get this. It would go Achane in round 3, Kyron in round 2 in a non-best ball, because the order is different. But let's say we couldn't get that. Debo, who goes in round 2 in best ball, now falls into round 3 in non-best ball. So we could put Debo Samuel right here. And then you could go with a heavier wide receiver room if you want. You could go running back, wide receiver, then have all the Green Bay wide receivers, then have Dalton Kincaid, have Jordan Love. I mean, you're crushing it either way. Like, the point of this is not, use the player you like. Don't fixate on Debo or fixate on Kyron or fixate on, in your league, Kyron and Achane would never fall this late, or whatever the hell you want to say. Or I don't want to go Bijan here, I want to go Tyreek Hill here, and then go running back, tight end, and then whatever. The point is this right here. The point is the whole entire world is sleeping on the Green Bay Packer wide receiver room, and it doesn't make a bit of sense. We're sleeping on it because we don't know what in the hell's going on with it. It's time to win some leagues with some Green Bay Packer builds that have everything to do with stockpiling, specifically running back, because you're covering so much of your wide receiver room in an electric offense where we're going to be gifted amazing production, and you still can do this kind of wide receiver stack, or like I said, go Kyren Achane instead of Debo. And again, Debo will fall into round 3 in a non-best ball, and in best ball he won't, but then Achane and Kyren can fall to the 2 and the 3, but mostly Kyren and Achane goes in 2. It's smash time. Let's smash our leagues with a little little Green Bay Packer action. I mean, come on. Oh, and I almost forgot Jacobs and Musgrave. I mean, look, you could overload on this. I don't think you can overload in best ball because you have optimal scoring, and you're not going to run into the oh, did I start the wrong guy? That's in non-best ball. And I think this would be a little too much in non-best ball, but you could get different pieces of it. But Musgrave will be a fantastic tight end in best ball. Jacobs you could throw in place of let's say Kyren ended up getting snagged, or let's say you did something like let me put Kyren over here. Don't go far, Kyren. I might need you. Let's say you went with something like, even Dell. I don't know. Maybe Kyren fell. Maybe in best ball, maybe Kyren fell here. Debo, you went in 2, and then you took Jacobs. So you had this kind of build like that. That can work too. But I didn't want to leave out Jacobs. Jacobs is a fantastic piece. You could go Jacobs, and he's gonna have such a big year. Lloyd, the rookie's already injured right now with a hamstring. Jacobs is gonna get about 70%. I imagine of the workload. Will there be some sort of divide? Yeah, probably, but Jacobs is going to thrive. He's going to pass protect. He's going to catch the football on every level. They talk about him all the time. He keeps getting hyped up. They're going to keep him on the field. He's not going to just get removed when they're going into passing down mode. He's going to absolutely be heavily involved and probably not come out of drives, be their goal line guy, be their red zone guy, be their the 2-minute drill guy. This is the running back they brought in for a specific reason, and they're going to use him to the tune of 70% in a high octane offense. You don't want him getting more work than 70%. That will feed him plenty. So Jacobs to the moon. But would I be lying to you if I said that I liked that better than, I still like Dell. I love Dell there. And if I could get in a best ball this, or in a non-best ball, this, which is kind of likely, especially in a 10-man league, but not as likely, as this right here in a non-best ball. I like these a little better than that Jacobs situation, but Musgrave needs to be had too. Sum total, my point here is that grabbing handfuls of these guys in non-best ball is smart because it's high octane. Grabbing as many as you can in best ball is smart because it's optimal scoring. But you get my point. Use your own judgment in non-best ball not to oversaturate on one team and then having a problem. But they're so cost effective. Drop your favorite version of this in the comments below. I want to go try this right now. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Go try this strategy out right now. Links in the description. Use code Smitty. You'll get your first deposit matched up to 50%. So you drop the minimum of $10, they'll give you $5. You drop 100, they'll give you 50. You drop 500, they'll give you the 250, all the way up to 250. But you only have to drop a $10 minimum. But go try this strategy in best ball. I'm gonna go try it right now. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Live whenever big news breaks. That's additionally, I'm live whenever big news breaks. And live most midnights drafting. Appreciate you all.